South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program as we begin another week of great horse racing around the country, covering it here in Las Vegas style at the Race Day Las Vegas show. Of course, welcome all of our listeners on our anchor radio station, KSHP 1400 AM and 107.1 FM here in Las Vegas. And, of course, all of you that are watching us or listening to us through the streaming of our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global, or maybe your iPhone, your Android with the KSHP app that you can hear us on your devices, or maybe anywhere you get your podcasting. And, of course, if you're here at YouTube on the South Point Studios feed, watching us, not only listening to us, but watching us live right here from the South Point Studios at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex here on the Las Vegas Strip, a fabulous strip in Las Vegas. We welcome you to the show no matter however, wherever, whenever you get us. And we start another week of covering racing Las Vegas style. All I can tell you, there's a lot going on. First of all, we do want to, voice our concerns and our thoughts and our prayers going on to all those folks in Texas. We understand there's about 800 miles of wildfires going on, mostly in the panhandle of Texas. That's just devastating right now. That they say the area that's burning out of control right now is larger than the footprint of the city of Los Angeles. So just take a look at, take a thought about that or two. And of course, the weather around the country, weather-wise, looks pretty good. Throughout the nation right now. There's a lot of action going on of a front that's going through, going to make its way through the northeast, but nowhere near in the southern part of the East Coast where Florida's at, and of course Gulfstream and Tampa Bay are running today. But there is a lot of action going on from the mid-Atlantic up to the northern Atlantic, and on the East Coast there might be a few off tracks going on the eastern tracks as well. As far as the West Coast is concerned, it's clear as a bell right now, but there's no racing in Southern California. However, this is Big Cap Week in Southern California. The Santa Anita Handicap at one time used to be the pinnacle race for the handicap division. Everybody pointed for what they termed the Big Cap, and it was the most prestigious and certainly one of the hardest handicap races to win. It came always on the first weekend of March, and it will again come on the first Saturday in March, which is just this upcoming Saturday. And of course, several other stakes races there. At Santa Anita, there will be 4 stakes races that will include the Big Cap, and of course, the San Felipe, one of the 4 major races this weekend on Saturday that will hold points for the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. Those races will be the Gotham at Aqueduct, with not only that, but 4 stakes races overall at Aqueduct. Again, and we say the 4 stakes races at Santa Anita with the San Felipe, and has 50 points for the Kentucky Derby leaderboard there, as well as the Gotham in New York. And of course, at Turfway Park, the John Battaglia will hold 20 points for the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. But the big racing card this weekend comes in Florida at Gulfstream Park. Gulfstream Park's going to have 9 stakes races on Saturday, 4 grade 3s, 4 grade 2s, one other one. But included among those graded stakes races will be the Fountain of Youth, which will hold 50 points for the Kentucky Derby leaderboard, and a hell of a field lined up for the Fountain of Youth. And also the Devonna Dale, which will hold 50 points for the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard as well. And of course, at Aqueduct, the Busher, by the way, on the Aqueduct card on Saturday, in addition to the Gotham, but the Busher Stakes will hold 50 points for the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard. So we got a lot going on as far as the Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks leaderboards, and certainly it'll be a shakeup there as it was last weekend. 4 races with Kentucky Derby points, 2 races with Kentucky Oaks points, so it's going to be a big weekend overall on Saturday. We will wait and see, however, how the weather is going to be in Southern California. We get the advanced weather predictions for Southern California for Saturday that shows an 85% chance of rain in Southern California on Saturday. If that holds true, you know what might happen for the racing card, the Big Cap card on Saturday at Santa Anita. We will wait and see what happens there as well. Taking a recap of some of the stuff that happened this past weekend, especially the Saudi the Saudi Cup there in Saudi Arabia. We understand that White Abarrio, that raced in that race, will not go on to Dubai. He's coming back to the United States. The winner, Senor Buscador, and the second place finisher, Ushba Tesero, these two finished a nose apart in the Saudi Cup. They are both going on to the Dubai World Cup. As a matter of fact, they left together on their way to Dubai. They're already there. The 1-2 finishers in the Saudi Cup will compete again in the Dubai World Cup. Saudi Crown, who competed in the Saudi Cup. Saudi Crown goes to Dubai, but he's going to cut back and go in the Dubai Mile in Maidan for that. And one more, Forever Young, who competed in Saudi, is going to go to Dubai in the UAE Derby. Now, the UAE Derby has 100 points for the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. If Forever Young wins there as well in that Derby, then they are planning to take those 100 points and bring them to the United States for the Kentucky Derby. So Forever Young will be doing that as well. And as far as anything else, as far as horse racing, those are the latest news items there. Now, late news item here in Las Vegas. Patrick Mahomes obviously liked his partying that went on after the Super Bowl here, because he was back last week for more parties with some of the Kansas City Chiefs. And Travis Kelce was seen on the golf course at Wynn. So they're continuing the party with their success for the Super Bowl here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Always nice to see him come back, that's for sure. All right, on today's show, we got Jonathan Ardoon standing by. He's got his little soapbox going on. And we're going to talk about an unusual disqualification that happened in the last race on Sunday at Santa Anita. a disqualification in an area of a race that they normally don't ever take into consideration for any changes in orders of finish. Well, it happened on Sunday in the last race. Jonathan's going to fill you in on that. And, of course, at Santa Anita on Sunday, the winner of the Wishing Well Stakes was A.G. Bullet, Umberto Rispoli's third win of the day on that win there at Santa Anita. Paid $9.80. It was Jerry Jackowitz's reverse play that hit there. He also had the exacta and the trifecta. Jerry's key horse ran second, Graceland Gray, while Miss Lizzie finished third. A.G. Bullet was trained by Richard Baltus. Remember, he had that long suspension. Baltus finally came back, and he gets his first stakes win back there. It was nice to see that as well. John Lindo and all of us who bet John Lindo's horse at Santa Anita on Sunday had a heartbreaking loss by a nose when Andy, Can You Hear Me, got up in the final jump, dropping his head right at the wire to beat John's pick, Sabasdiz, who finished second in that race. That was kind of a heart-pumping loss there. As far as the pari-mutuels at Santa Anita on Sunday, not one horse, not one in the entire 10-race card paid $10 or more. Highest-priced winner was the winner of that Wishing Well, paying $9.80. So the public is still seeing it very well at Santa Anita these days. Gulfstream Park, Safi Joseph Jr. got his 1,000th career win in the last race on Sunday at Gulfstream Park in the form of Palace Zip, who won for Edgard Zayas, paying $7 even. This horse won a maiden claiming race. First lifetime start for this horse, gets the win, and an important win, a milestone win for Safi Joseph Jr. there. That was one of the highlights at Gulfstream on Sunday. And Jose Ortiz won 4 races on Sunday at Gulfstream as well. Oak Lawn Park on Sunday, well, they had another big $100 winner, a $109.20 winner in the 7th race with a Fleet Sky. Rocco Bowen was the rider there. And coincidentally, Rocco Bowen has won 2 races with horses at 50-1 or longer at Oak Lawn Park in this past week. So you got to watch him on those big, huge long shots, I guess. Keith Asmussen had a couple of wins there at Oak Lawn. And at Aqueduct on Sunday, the winner of the Gander Stakes was Pandagate. Pandagate for Christophe Clement, paid $4.80 as the favorite under Dylan Davis, outrunning Doc Sullivan and Liberty Central. So that's kind of what happened on Sunday. But a lot of the horses, a lot of the participants that raced in the Saudi Cup on their way at the Dubai and Meydan Racecourse for, of course, the next big international racing card, the Dubai World Cup racing card coming up soon. All right, on today's show, as we say, I got Jonathan Ardoon. He's going to stand by with his soapbox and a couple of picks for us in Florida. John Linda will be here, as well as Jerry Jackwitz, give us a little bit more on some wagering tips, etc. And as I say, as far as the weather is concerned today, it looks great in Southern California, but you know what's going to happen possibly on Saturday. No racing in Southern California anyhow. And, of course, as well as the racing around the country, some of the bad weather is up in the Northeast. Okay, we're going to get started with some of your Race Day Las Vegas particulars here with the guests standing by, handicappers standing by, your racing menu standing by, and I hope you're standing by too. So don't go away. We'll be right back on your Wednesday Race Day Las Vegas show.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah. I am beautiful. And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh! Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock. I go, ah! Ah!
Oh! Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Alrighty, back on the Race Day Las Vegas radio program. Just taking a look right now at the leaderboard as it stands right now on our way to the more Derby points and Oaks points on the weekend. With a big win over the weekend, this past weekend for Timberlake, he goes right to the top of the leaderboard as far as the Kentucky Derby points. He's got 66. Sierra Leone now sits in second with 55. Track Phantom also there, second at 55. Then you have Fierceness at 36 and Common Defense at 27 points, and that is the top 5 in the leaderboard for the Kentucky Derby. As far as the Kentucky Oaks, with that maiden win in the race at Oaklawn on Saturday, Lemon Muffin now has 50 points for that win in the race there. For D. Wayne Lucas, she's on top in the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard. Tarifa is second with 50 as well. So 50 goes to Lemon Muffin and Tarifa. They're both on top there with 50. Just FYI that we'll be running, I believe, at Gulfstream Park on Sunday in the point getter race there. The Devonna Dale has 40 points. West Omaha, who failed over last weekend, is still there with 40 points. So they're kind of in second place there. And Intricate sits there at 35. So those are the leaders right now, the top 5 in the leaderboard for the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby, but you know it's going to change a lot over this weekend as well. All right, here's the racing menu of tracks available right now in the race book, simulcast centers and racetracks for today. We remind you, as we always do, the first post times we broadcast on this racing menu each and every day are that of the Pacific time zone, because that's where we're at here in the Pacific time zone. These will be the first post times that roll out in our race book here at South Point today. If you're listening around the world on those many different outlets that we greeted you at the top of the show, well, then we know there's plenty of other time zones you're in listening and watching us. So please adjust to the first post times of the Pacific time zone. These are Pacific time zone first post times. Don't want you to miss anything, like, of course, I miss Mom and Dad. All right, here's your menu. We begin with Parks Racing. Parks Racing has a first post time of 9:05 at Parks Racing today. Then the coming up second will be Gulfstream Park. Big racing at Gulfstream today. Big week coming up there at Gulfstream. Their first post time is 9:10 at Gulfstream Park. By the way, Parks Racing, their Pick 5 jackpot carryover is small, $12,847 in the Pick 5 jackpot carryover at Parks. Gulfstream Park's Pick 6 Rainbow jackpot carryover stands at $526,169 today. Their first post time at Gulfstream, 9:10. Then we go to Tampa Bay Downs. Tampa Bay Downs has a first post time of 9:30. They have a super high 5 carryover at Tampa Bay of $1,369, and their Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $15,987. First post time at Tampa Bay is at 9:30. Then next we go to Mahoning Valley Racecourse. Mahoning Valley Racecourse has a regular Pick 5 carryover, not a jackpot, a regular Pick 5 carryover at Mahoning Valley Racecourse today of $10,333. $10,333. First post time at Mahoning Valley, 9:45. Next comes Turf Paradise in Phoenix, Arizona. Turf Paradise has a Pick 6 jackpot carryover of $23,949. That's their Pick 6 jackpot carryover there at Turf Paradise. First post time is 11:55. Then we go to Turfway Park. Turfway Park has a super high 5 carryover of $1,428. A Pick 6 jackpot carryover of $1,569. And their first post time at Turfway Park today is 2:55. 5 minutes later, you get the first post time at Penn National. Penn National's first post time is 3 o'clock, And they have a Super High Five jackpot carryover, $1,254, $1,254 there. Again, 3 o'clock first post time. And we wrap up the 8 tracks on our menu today with Charlestown races. Charlestown has a Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $5,898, and their first post time is at 4 p.m. And that is your racing menu for today, Wednesday, here on almost the last day of February. Remember, this is a leap year, so we get that one extra day tomorrow, February 29th, and then we turn the page to March. Now we will go to Jonathan Hardoon standing by. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, my man. We got a lot to cover, that's for sure, on the show. Why don't we do this? I do want to talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame and the new Baffert lawsuit that I think is kind of almost comical. But in any case, I do want to start out with that disqualification in the last race at Santa Anita, and a disqualification in an area of a race that they normally just bypass. So what's the deal?
I have no idea, Ralph. I saw the winner start flashing, and I said, well, this will be 30 seconds, and they'll say no change. And then as time went on, started to get a little longer and a little longer. And I'm thinking to myself, are they really going to take this horse down? I mean, it's against all their precedent, since the Bayern days when that horse came over and he got to stay. They don't even look at these fouls anymore or supposed fouls. Comes on Sunday in the last race of the day, and people weren't happy, and rightfully so. You can't make that call, Ralph. And not only that, if they're going to take him down, they got to put him fourth. They're not going to put him second, because the horse that finished third, I thought was, if anyone was barred, that it was him, and he missed by a nose. It's just a mess. And Southern California racing slowly circling the drain. It's terrible, Ralph. On Saturday, they didn't take the Dubai World Cup. If you were at the track, you couldn't bet it. I mean, I don't know why they're in the racing business. They're doing everything to hurt the game. And it's such a beautiful track. And, it's been a staple for years, Santa Anita. However, the product is just really getting bad.
Yeah, normally when they say when a horse breaks out of a starting gate while the jockey is getting ready to grab him and take a hold of him because they let the reins loose, because the sensation, by the way, if you're ever on the back of a racehorse coming out of a starting gate, the sensation is they're standing there. And as soon as the gate opens, they leap forward. When they leap forward, the horse comes out from under you. The horse, if you're sitting on the horse.
Yeah.
The horse. It drops out from under you. So you're sitting there with you got your feet in the stirrups. It comes out from under you. So you sit there and you have a hold of the mane and not the reins tightly, because if you have the reins tightly, you're going to fall back. So you have your hands on the mane to let him come out and take you with him. As soon as that second or third stride comes into play, that's when you start the grab and all that. So if the horse comes out and veers quickly to the right or left, you have, 1 or 2 strides before you can get a hold of him and straighten him out one way or the other. So, and because of that dynamic, the stewards usually let them get away with a lot that happens at the starting gate. They just discount it as part of racing. So this was
let them play.
This is very unusual what happened here. They usually didn't do that. That's why I think it was so not unbelievable, because anything's unbelievable there, but so out of the ordinary.
Yeah, but if another thing, if it was Flavian Pratt or Irad Ortiz or a really high-profile jockey, I really doubt they would have taken him down, Ralph. It was just a bad takedown, another bad DQ. And, we talk about it way too much. We shouldn't be talking about bad DQs, but we end up talking about them at least twice a week. That should never be. You should never have that problem. And again, I don't have the answer. I don't know the answer, but it's a mess between that and the computer-assisted wagering with odds dropping. No one's doing anything to help improve the game. All they're doing is hurting the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we just, I don't know. I don't know the answer either. It's consistency is the answer. One way or the other, just make it consistent. And
it's consistent at this point, Ralph. It's consistently bad is what it is. Let's be honest.
It's consistently inconsistent is what it is. In any case, do you know because I didn't catch it, the price of the horse that got disqualified?
No, but he ran a hell of a race. I'll tell you that much. I didn't play him, but he battled. He battled every step of the way, and he finally drew off late. I think it was maybe 4-1 or 9-2. I'm not sure. They put up the 4-5 shot. I know that
because he got disqualified in favor of the horse that paid 320 as the favorite in that race. So I'll wait and see what John Lindo's thoughts about that a little bit later on in the show. All right, Hall of Fame. I understand 17 finalists that include returning candidates Kona Gold. That Kona Gold's been up for the Fall Hall of Fame for I don't know how long. I remember. Rags to Riches is also coming back for that. So the Triple Crown winner, Justify, Horse of the Year, Gun Runner, Joel Rosario, who ranks 4th all-time in Breeders' Cup wins. They're all new finalists in the National Museum of Racing's 2024 Hall of Fame ballot announced the other day. I believe it was yesterday. 9 racehorses, 6 trainers, 2 jockeys account for the 17 finalists. The others include Blind Luck, Game On Dude, Gio Ponte, Arve de Grace, as I said, Kona Gold, Lady Ellie, and Rags to Riches. Trainers Christophe Clement, Kieran McLaughlin, Graham Motion, Doug O'Neill, John Sadler, John Sheriffs, and jockey Jorge Chavez. All I can tell you is Jorge Chavez deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, too.
Yeah, but this day and age, he would never make the Hall of Fame because he was known for really riding a horse, And if with the 6 rules, with the 6 whip rule, he wouldn't win 100 races, believe me. He would go to work on horses, not in a bad way. He just got the most out of them. He was a strong rider. And when he got off, he got everything out of the horse that you could get. So in the new day of a Heisa, I don't know how many career wins he would have really had. But he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Now, being fortunate enough to be one of the people that vote on this, I think every one of the ones 17, honestly belong in the Hall of Fame. They're not all going to get there because we can vote as many as we want, but they will take 50% or more of the total votes on the horses that get in it, and then they'll come back like Kona Gold. I mean, he's been there for, I think, 10 years. I keep voting for him, but I guess he doesn't get enough from people outside
the West
of me.
Coast horse. If he was an East Coast horse, he would have been in years ago. Believe me, there's a certain bias against, I think anyway, and he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's not, and it's a shame.
Well, so you think they all deserve it too, Don?
Well, yeah, I do. I really do.
Yeah,
Most of them on the list, absolutely. I mean, John Sheriffs, how could he not be in the Hall of Fame? By now, he should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Just with his work with Zenyatta, if nothing else.
That's what I'm saying. After Zenyatta, I mean, Zenyatta's in the Hall of Fame. How could John Sheriffs not be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, maybe the voters figure she dragged him along. He didn't drag her along, but that's not the case. You know that there was a good marriage of racehorse and caretaker to get the most out of them. That's for sure. All right.
Total team effort. There.
All right. Now we can get to the goofy one. Bob Baffert. All these lawsuits that have happened with Bob Baffert and Medina Spirit. We all know about that, and it goes on and on and on. Still banned from Churchill Downs. We all, every year when we get up to the Kentucky Derby, and Baffert's got all these high-priced, well-bred 3-year-olds that are kicking what in Southern California. Haven't been made eligible for the Kentucky Derby for the last 2 years unless they went to another trainer. Along with that, I guess there is a group of bettors, a conglomerate of bettors that have filed a lawsuit against Bob Baffert for what they say he did to Medina Spirit. They have tickets on Medina Spirit, and I guess what they're looking for is a settlement. Now, this has gone through 3 courts already. They started out in California. California dismissed it. Then it went to New Jersey, and New Jersey decided to transfer it to Kentucky. Oh, boy, it's going to Kentucky now. And so because that his horse, under his care, got disqualified in the Kentucky Derby, this is back in 2021, a lawsuit means they want to get paid for it. That's the only thing I could think of, that's for sure. Well, if they win that lawsuit, I bet on the horse to win that ran second to Medina Spirit. Didn't get paid.
Mandolin, was that, I forgot its name.
I think it was Mount Adulin, I think was the name of the horse, something like that.
It was a Cox horse.
Yes. Anyhow, Mandaloun. Here's what happened, folks. When the race is declared official at the track, you get paid. So all the people that bet Medina Spirit got paid. All right? The people who bet the second horse, who eventually became declared the winner, we didn't get paid. So I guess they're filing on behalf of the second place finisher. So maybe I ought to go. Maybe I ought to go find
the owners and Cox and the jockey, because everyone else they didn't get paid.
All the players, as soon as it became official at the racetrack, you got paid on the horse that finally got disqualified. The people who didn't get paid on the horse who finally was declared the winner. So we'll wait and see where that goes. I think it's going nowhere, because if they manage.
If they establish this precedent, this game is finished, because there'll be somebody in court for something. I mean, listen, the stewards made a bad call in New York when they took down that 12 horse, if you recall, the Phantom Fall. What are they going to do? Go back and sue now too? It'll just be a never-ending. It'll be horrible.
Yeah, it's going to be opening up the biggest Pandora box of gambling at racetracks you've ever seen in your life. But we'll wait and see what happens there. All right, anything else on your soapbox there, buddy?
That's it. We're ready to go.
You're ready to go? That's it? No more, nothing? Hey, how about the races coming up this weekend, those Kentucky Derby races? Good stuff, huh?
Gulfstream, 9 stake races on Saturday, Ralph. 9 stake races. Yep. We better start the show early on Saturday.
Yeah, you ain't kidding there. There's going to be 9 stake races. They are the Colonel Liam, the McDermott, the Here Comes the Bride, the Devonna Dale for the 3-year-old fillies, the Very One, popular stakes race, marathon stakes race on the turf, the Gulfstream Park Mile at a mile, the Canadian Turf is also on the turf there, and the Honey Fox, a Grade 3 at a mile, and then you've got of course, the Fountain of Youth, mile and 16th. This is the middle of the 3-race series for the Florida Derby. And the Fountain of Youth has got one hell of a field, I can tell you that. It's going to be good. Now, we understand that that big allowance race on Friday at Gulfstream that features a lot of the horses that might have pointed for the Fountain of Youth, one of them being Speakeasy, the Todd Fletcher horse that is going to be one of the favorites if he goes in the Fountain.
He's crossing.
Right, if he goes in the Fountain of Youth. Fletcher said when they asked him, he said he's going to make a decision, but not until Friday morning, whether to go on the Friday race or move to the Fountain of Youth on Saturday.
Not only that, Fierceness isn't running. Fierceness is waiting for the Florida Derby. Yeah. So now Fletcher has the same problem that trainers like Cox and other guys have when they have all these horses and they have to get points for all of them. They got to keep them separated for a certain amount of time. Otherwise, they're going to cost themselves, points if they want to get into the Derby. So it becomes a tricky situation, and I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but remember that the races coming up, now all these prep races at the particular racetracks like the Fountain of Youth, that's a prep for the Florida Derby. The races at Oaklawn, a prep for the Arkansas Derby, the races in New Orleans at the fairgrounds for the, Louisiana Derby. And even Saturday's race, the San Felipe at Santa Anita, are preps for the Santa Anita Derby. All of those derbies will hold 100 points for the Kentucky Derby. So they still have time to, no pun intended, jockey for position to get enough points to get in the Kentucky Derby if they want to. All right, so we got to build a bankroll here.
Yeah, let's see if we could improve on Sunday's 2 seconds and turn them into 2 wins today.
Yeah.
First one at Gulfstream, and let's look at the 3rd race today at Gulfstream. It's a mile and a 16th on Tapeta, and I like the number 5 horse in here, Starship Sigrun. Starship Sigrun is a 4-year-old filly from the Bernardo Campos barn. Angel Morales aboard to ride. She's listed at 8-1 on the morning line. Goes for a new barn today. Her last 2 races, either one of them good enough to get the job done here. I like number 5, Starship Sigrun, to win today's 3rd race out at Gulfstream Park.
Now, that horse, as you say, in that race is 8-1 on the morning line. They got a big 7-5 morning line favorite in there, shopping at Bloomie's. And you think you got a big shot at just running that horse down, right?
We are going to do it, sir.
All right, you got it, my man. And, of course, I know you usually tap us into Tampa Bay on Wednesdays.
Yeah, we're going to look at the second race today, a mile and a 16th on the main track. And I like the number 2 horse in here, High Yield Kitten, 6-year-old gelding from the Douglas Nunn Barn. He claimed this horse last time out. This horse has some good races to go back to. I think he's sitting on a big effort today. Ronnie Allen aboard to ride 9-2 on the morning line. Number 2, High Yield Kitten, a single in today's second race out of Tampa Bay Downs.
Tampa Bay, number 2 in the second race. He's remember 2 in the second race. Again, in that second race, number 5, Cuz, has been scratched in that race, leaving a field of 9 in that event at a mile and 16th. So in the second race at Tampa Bay, you like number 2, High Yield Kitten. Let's make it a high yield winner for the race day listeners out there. All right, Jonathan. Well, I think we covered everything and then some. So I guess what we'll do is we'll send you on your way, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
Got it, my man. All right, when we come back off of the break, John Lindo is standing by. Oh, John, we are crossing our fingers and our toes and everything else for the weatherman to be just a little bit wrong for Saturday. We'll get the latest from John Lindo. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas for this Wednesday show, kicking off another week covering the horse racing business and, of course, horse racing nationwide from the Las Vegas perspective. But we have our man in Southern California again after spending a lot of time and sharing the studio here with us live over the weekend. John Lindo, of course, back at home in Southern California. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. Love to have you here all the time, but we understand that you do reside in Southern California. It was a lot of fun having you over here over the weekend.
Oh, I enjoy it. It's fun to get over to the studio, fun to get over to the South Point and kind of run into the horse players. And that's kind of how we grew up, Ralph, going to the racetrack and hanging out with our friends.
No kidding. Now, what happened to Santa Anita? Saturday morning, everybody in the world's looking at the Saudi Cup, and they couldn't bet the race there?
I have no idea. I didn't know about that till I got back, and I just, I'm trying to get an answer from Santa Anita why they wouldn't do that. I know that they have an advanced deposit wagering company, ExpressBet.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that I did get a note back that they will revisit that policy next year, but that didn't do anything for there's a lot of horsemen on the backside that maybe aren't tied in Wi-Fi to be able to watch that stuff. You'd think they'd at least pipe it through so they could watch and wager on it if they wanted to.
Now, that wagering included not having an opportunity to bet it over their phone app as well?
Well, you could play it off ExpressBet, which is the Stronach-owned wagering site, and any of the ADWs that the California residents are allowed to watch and wager on made it available. So it was available online. But as far as opening up the facility itself and being able to wager there from the facility at Santa Anita, you couldn't do it.
Now, I don't know what the situation is now in Southern California at Santa Anita because I haven't been there in a long time, but Clocker's Corner used to be a really nice hot spot to be in the mornings, and that would have been perfect to have it there with the breakfast and the horses working out, etc., Saturday morning at the track and being able to watch it and bet it as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ralph, that's changed a lot. You don't see nearly as many of the horsemen out as we used to back in the quote-unquote good old days. You can still have breakfast out there, but, you could sit down and have a waiter service out there overlooking the racetrack. And now it's kind of, you go to the ordering window, you pick it up yourself, you can sit down and do it yourself. But it's changed a little bit from what you remember.
Oh, yeah. It used to be a hot spot. Everybody was there. You'd converse and all that. The horsemen would come out, and you'd see the top horsemen. And on occasion, when the big horses had to work out, it was really a fun thing, that's for sure. Sorry to hear it's kind of falling by the wayside there. All right, Mr. Blacker starts his 90-day suspension now?
Right. He started on Monday. He has a 90-day suspension for non-reported veterinary certificates for workouts. I think 527 workouts did not have that vet pass before they did them. So he's got 90 days to sit and get that, the clerical stuff all straightened out for his barn.
Just clerical, I understand. But how does the governing body wait until there's over 500 of these violations before they ever find out and do something about it?
Well, the only reason they found it in the first place, I guess, a horse that Dan Blacker trained suffered a catastrophic injury last June or July. And at that point, they went back to look at the workout patterns to see what happened. And they said, hey, wait a minute, these works weren't okay. They weren't, there was no pre-vet inspection. And so they started going through, and they found out of the 780 horses that he had worked in the year and a half prior, 527 of the works did not have that. And that's on the California Horse Racing Board, who is supposed to oversee and enforce the regulations that are in place.
Well, the equine injury database said that the amount of fatalities, thoroughbred fatalities in North America ticked upward slightly in 2023 from 2022. It is now at 1.32 per 1,000 starters. But the one in last year's, was lower, obviously, at 1.25. But it was last year's was the lowest ever recorded since this operation has been in place. So the one last year, although it ticked up a little bit, it's still very much lower than it has been in the past decades. I mean, in 2009, it was a 2-point rate per 1,000. So, although it ticked up a little bit, that's still okay. But Southern California and especially Santa Anita has been real cautious about running horses on what they believe are unsafe off tracks. I don't believe the off tracks. Some might be, but I think you should leave it up to the horsemen and, of course, the jockeys who ride on those races to make that determination. But now we're looking again at 85% rain coming in on Saturday over the weekend at Santa Anita, and very much the Big Cap and San Felipe and all those big races on Saturday in jeopardy. And all of the events, they have a lot of different events on the same day there in the infield. It said all of those are now in jeopardy.
Yeah, there's been no announcement yet, obviously. We'll find out. We enter today for Santa Anita Handicap Day Saturday. And I do believe that First Racing has purchased some national television time. Saturday is one of those First Racing Tours days where they will feature some of the races between Gulfstream Park and their Fountain of Youth card and Santa Anita's Big Cap cards. So they have a lot lined up for Saturday. And so, you'd hate to see the spending on a national television broadcast, and there's nothing to televise. But we'll find out what happens, and we know what the protocols are. If they have to seal the track on Friday, if the rain comes in early, then, it's dicey whether you can run on Saturday based on the rules that we have to go by right now. But we'll see. It's supposed to come in Friday night, and it's supposed to rain pretty good. So if I have any updates through the week, Ralph, I'll get them to you. But right now, we're just sitting and watching like everybody else.
Okay. Did you have a quick look at the Hall of Fame? You think everything, anybody was left out of that thing?
No, I think it's pretty accurate. Justifies a Triple Crown winner. I would think that there would not be much resistance to him being inducted. And, for me personally, Ralph, I want to see Kona Gold get into this thing.
Man, finally.
Any 5 years straight in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, extended time of excellence, facing the very best. And he's a sprinter. It's hard to keep sprinters sharp for any length of time, much less 5 years. So I think he's worthy of induction into the Hall. I don't know. I don't want to call it an East Coast bias, but, California speed's pretty good.
Well, I voted for him every year he was eligible. That's for sure. I'm going to do it again this year. That's for sure. Okay, I thought about the Baffert lawsuit.
I let it go where it's going to go. I don't think there's anything to see there. I really don't. I just think it was horse players trying to make a statement, and they're moving that thing around like, I don't want it, you take it. So I really don't have a comment on it.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot to do about nothing, that's for sure. And, of course, I thought about the inquiry on Sunday last race.
Well, I think Jonathan Hardoon got it right. Based on what happened in the Breeders' Cup a few years back when Bayern just wiped out half the field, and there was no change there, that kind of set a standard. You usually give those horses at the start 2 or 3 jumps before to straighten out after they come out of the gate. Right. And I didn't see anything. It benefited me, and I don't think I deserve to win that. So that'll tell you how I feel about it. And I don't care whatever the standard is, Ralph. Just be consistent on how you enforce that rule so we know what to expect. Yeah. Right now, when it goes to the stewards, you just sit there twiddling your thumbs because, and I've been doing this a while, I have no idea what they're going to decide.
Yeah, no question about that. That's for sure. Now, I see from the window behind you, there's a lot of sunshine. Can you bottle that up and put it out on Sunday and Saturday?
Well, I'm going to enjoy it as it comes along, Ralph, and we'll deal with the elements. And either way, we're going to have a great card at Gulfstream Park, too. Yeah. Santa Anita should be a good card if we can get it in. Yeah. So,
real quick, Linda report for this week.
Did Gulfstream Park for tomorrow. I'll do a full card at Gulfstream Park on Saturday for that 14-race card. Santa Anita Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right. You got it, my man. Thanks a lot for checking in with us. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Ralph. Good luck today.
All right. Final break. When we come back, Jerry Jackowitz, and we'll see what he's thinking about today. Don't go away.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yes. I am beautiful. And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah. Pittsburgh.
Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Oh! Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Now, you heard on the commercial how much fun on the Punchline show there is. And don't forget, Punchline is here 5 days a week on the South Point Studios feed on YouTube. You can see it, you can listen to it, you can watch it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Frank Nicotero does a great job 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, noon to 1. And, of course, Sports by the Book. You need that, especially coming up with March Madness. My goodness, they'll keep you updated on all the good stuff there. 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 3 to 4 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, an expanded version, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., all Pacific time zone starts. So keep that in mind. Jerry Jackowitz, good morning.
Good morning, Ralphie. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, my man. What do you got up your sleeve today?
Let's see. Nothing up either's sleeve, but I have an idea here to share with you guys.
Okay, give me that idea.
Well, we come to races, and I talk to you all the time about pop-out keys, finding pop-out keys, and you might only find a couple a day. 2, 3, 4. 4 would be a busy day in finding really good pop-out keys. So that might not be enough action, and particularly with the small fields we have today, you can handicap a race and have a horse you like pretty much, and just there not be enough value in it. But there's another kind of wager that we could make. I call it proposition wagering. A little bit like a football bet. You bet one side against the other. In this case, let's say you had an 8-horse race. I might bet 4 horses against the other 4 horses to create an exacta, and only look for a payout of 6-5 or 7-5, as opposed to a play where I'm making a really significant bet on a particular horse, and if that horse wins, I want to extract a certain amount of value, 2-1, 4-1, whatever. But the proposition bet, and it's really, I actually learned it before I made the Power Page, and then it took me a lot of years to realize that the Power Page actually identifies when several of these bets are available. Not entirely, but it's pretty good at getting you at least to look at races that have the potential to be a proposition bet. So this is for instance, let's say we have an 8-horse field, and the top 4 horses on the Power Page are fairly closely bunched, and then there's a break between the 4th horse and the 5th horse. And then 5, 6, 7, 8 are a lot lower than the top 4 horses. I might not have a pop-out key in that top 4. If I do, of course, I'm playing a pop-out key. That's my first play. But if I don't have a pop-out key, if I have several horses that I kind of like, I look at them, I handicap them, those 4 horses, and there's stuff to like, but I don't really have a hook to make me want to bet any one of them, the 4 of them become an interesting bet. You could bet, for example, an exacta this way. You could take 4x4, a simple 4x4. It costs you 4 times 3, 12 combinations, and check each of your prices to see if it will yield an even money or greater payout, maybe 6-5 or 7-5. Or another thing you can do, and I do this, particularly like to do this, is because I like to find randomness, I go 4x4 by all. That's 4 times 3 times 6. That's 24 times 3, 72 combinations for a trifecta is $36. It's not so terribly expensive. And I might even go 4 by all by 4 if there's a lot of big prices in there. But I will do something like that, where 4x4 by all becomes an exacta, where any one of any 2 of those 4 horses that are in the top 4 group on the Power Page, finish first or second, or if I do it first and third, I cash. And I'm really driven by potential payoffs. And I'm not looking to shoot the moon. I'm looking for a high percentage play, something that's going to come in 3 out of 5 times, 4 out of 7 times, something like that. Okay. And I can build an edge.
Now, Jerry, I understand that philosophy, but nowadays, especially with the computer groups now jumping in and causing a lot of drastic fluctuations in prices, even during the course of a race, it would be harder to determine that type of payoff now, wouldn't it?
Well, you're really looking for instance, and you're sort of looking for things to sort of break up, because you have to understand, if you don't have a good pop-out key, if you don't have a good hook in the race, what makes you think anybody else does? And sure, the computer people will come in and they'll suck some of the value out of your play on certain occasions, but sometimes they're going to push value into the play, and you'll get an overlay payoff. So we can't function based on those guys.
All right. Well, again, we used up time right to the end. I want to thank you, Jerry, for your thoughts on Wednesdays about how to play races, etc. We'll get back to handicapping and all that good stuff tomorrow. as we continue through the week on the big weekend coming up. In the meantime, Jerry, you got one more thing to say. Go ahead and say it.
Have a great race day, everybody.